Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Bozidar and Zoran, and this beautiful game complete in only 26 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game start with the pawn to d4. Knight a6 was played, and now the white play bishop to g5. And here you have the Trompowsky attack. Then the black continue with e6 and knight to d2. Then h6 was played trying to attack the bishop. And here the bishop to h4 maintaining the pin. And after this, the black play c5 trying to attack the pawn at the center. And after this move, the white continue to play e4. So the idea is to push the pawn forward to e5 and win the knight at this position. So after this move, d5 was played, and now the white play e5 attacking the knight. Then the black play g5, and here the pawn is attacking the bishop while the white is attacking the knight. So bishop to g3 was played, and now after this move, the knight to g8. Another suggestion that the white can play in this position is to capture the knight, and if you capture, then the pawn will just capture the bishop, and after bishop to b5 check, then the bishop will just defense, and after bishop check, then the knight capture. And this position, the black will be slightly better because the knight is attacking the pawn at f6 and another pawn is attacking the pawn at d4. So therefore, the white play bishop to g3. And after this move, knight to g8, then the white play h4, attacking the pawn at g5. So after this move, the knight c6 was played, and after this, the pawn h take the g5 pawn. And back to this position, another suggestion that you can play is the pawn takes the c5 pawn, and if the pawn capture, then the bishop will just capture attacking the queen. And if the queen move away, such as move to c7, then the knight can just move knight g to f3, and this position the white will be winning a pawn. And if you capture with the rook, then the bishop will just capture it back. And now after knight to b3, then bishop to b6, the white is still slightly better in this position. So in the actual game, the pawn takes the g5 pawn, and the knight takes d4. Then the white continue to play c3, attacking the knight, and now the knight to f5. And here you can see the idea for the white to play is to go the queen to g4 and push the pawn forwards. And you also can capture the pawn at f7. So queen to g4 was played, and after this move, the black play bishop to g7. Then now the white continue to play knight g to f3, and the white is pushing forwards and try to develop the piece and attack the king side. So after this move, the knight g to e7, the white castling the queen side for the long castling and preparing to attack the king side. Then bishop d7 was played, and now the white developed bishop to d3. After this, bishop to b6 was played, and now the bishop to f4. And this idea to use the pawn to capture, and here you have a 1, 2 and 3 pieces attacking the pawn. So after this move, the rook to g8 was played, and this gives white the better chance to attack. Back to this position, one of the greater moves for the black would be h5. And here, if you use the rook to capture, then the black can go for a long castling and protect. Or you also can use the rook to capture back the rook. After capture the rook, then queen capture, then the king can go for a long castling. And here you just maintain almost a 0 point in the calculation. So back to this position, after bishop to f4, the black play rook to g8. Then the queen goes to h5, continue the attack. And after this move, the knight to g6. Then g3 was played, and the idea of the bishop capture the knight will be a very strong trade. So after this move, the reason the pawn to come to g3 is to protect the bishop if it's being captured. So once you capture, you have a very strong pawn in the board. So after this move, the pawn capture g5, h takes g5, and now the knight takes g5. And here, the white will hoping to use the bishop to capture the knight. So after this move, the knight f to e7. And after this move, here come one very nice move from the white, which is a knight sacrifice by playing knight takes f7. After capture this sacrifice, if you do not capture back the knight, then the white will be winning a pawn. So for example, if you move the king to f8, then the knight goes to d6, or even you can go to h6. So assume if you go to d6, now cannot move, and if you move any dummy move such as a pawn a6, then the white can just capture the knight, and after capture, the queen can capture it back and you'll be winning a piece. So back to this position, the king have to capture the knight, and after capturing the knight, now the queen capture and check the king. And if you capture with the knight, knight takes g6, then after this move, the knight can play knight to c4 or e4. Then this another sacrifice, you use the rook to capture back the bishop. So you have a very strong attack. So in the actual game, the white can play knight to e4. The better move will be the knight to c4, because this knight will attack the queen. And if you move away the queen, such as queen to d8, then the knight will continue to go to d6 and check the king, and the king move down to f8, then the queen can go to f3 and go for open check. So in actual game, after move knight to e4, the bishop to f8 was played, and after this move the knight goes to f6, keep on the attack. Then the bishop to e7, and after this queen to h7, and it's going to mate in 3. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the continuation of the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show. After this move, the black play rook defense, and with this the queen capture the rook and go for a sacrifice, and this is a very nice move. And after this sacrifice, if the king can't move anyway, and the only way is to capture the queen. After capture, the rook continue to go h7 and check, and with this the king have to move to f8, and after this move you have a very nice bishop to h6, and it was a very nice checkmate at the move 26. And with this, thank you.